Staff Sergeant Jasmine Cooper had been tracking enemy patrol movements through her scope for 47 minutes, calculating wind speed and range to 4 hostile soldiers moving through the valley below. Her Barrett M82 sniper rifle was zeroed perfectly at 800 meters, finger on the trigger, when she felt cold steel press against the base of her skull. "Move and you die," whispered the enemy soldier, who had somehow approached her position undetected. But what he didn't know was that Jasmine had spent 3 years perfecting escape techniques specifically designed for captured snipers, and the 4 soldiers she'd been targeting were about to become witnesses to the deadliest reversal in modern warfare. The morning sun cast long shadows across the Corvin mountain ridge, where Staff Sergeant Jasmine Cooper had been conducting reconnaissance for 6 hours. Her Barrett M82 a 1.50 caliber sniper rifle lay perfectly still against the rocky outcrop, its scope trained on enemy movements in the valley 800 meters below. The weapon represented the pinnacle of long-range precision, 29-pound system capable of eliminating human targets at distances exceeding 1,800 meters under optimal conditions. Jasmine's ghillie suit blended seamlessly with the mountain terrain, the carefully woven fabric and natural materials creating camouflage that rendered her virtually invisible to enemy observation. 3 years of specialized training had taught her to become one with the landscape, moving with patience that could stretch across days when tactical situations demanded absolute concealment. Through her Leupold Mark IV telescopic sight, she observed 4 enemy soldiers conducting what appeared to be reconnaissance of American patrol routes. Intelligence reports indicated these were high-value targets, experienced fighters whose elimination would significantly disrupt enemy operations in the region. The lead soldier carried equipment that identified him as a communications specialist, probably coordinating with enemy command elements to report American patrol patterns. The second soldier bore the distinctive weapon configuration of a trained sniper, his rifle and equipment suggesting capability that posed direct threats to American forces. The third and fourth soldiers appeared to be security elements, positioned to provide overwatch while their colleagues conducted intelligence gathering. Perfect targets for elimination, perfect positioning for engagement, perfect opportunity to neutralize threats that could result in American casualties during future operations. Jasmine had calculated every variable that affected precision shooting at extreme range: atmospheric pressure, temperature gradients, humidity levels, and wind patterns that influenced bullet trajectory across 800 meters of mountain air. The Barrett's .50 BMG ammunition provided devastating terminal ballistics, but accuracy at such distances required mathematical precision that separated expert marksmen from casual shooters. Wind speed, 8 knots from the northwest. Temperature, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Atmospheric pressure, 29.87 inches of mercury. Range, 847 meters to the primary target, all factors within acceptable parameters for successful engagement. Jasmine's breathing had synchronized with her shooting rhythm, heart rate controlled to minimize weapon movement during trigger squeeze. Her finger rested on the Barrett's trigger with exactly 3.2 pounds of pressure, 0.8 pounds from the rifle's breaking point that would send a 750-grain projectile downrange at 2,800 feet per second. The crosshairs settled on the enemy communications specialist's center mass. Perfect sight picture, perfect stability, perfect opportunity for elimination. That's when cold steel pressed against the base of her skull. "Move and you die," whispered a voice in accented English, the words delivered with calm certainty that suggested professional military training. Jasmine's body remained motionless while her mind shifted instantly from sniper mode to survival assessment. An enemy soldier had somehow approached her position without triggering her awareness, a tactical failure that could prove fatal unless addressed with immediate and decisive action. How had he penetrated her security? Jasmine had selected her position using techniques learned from the Army's most advanced sniper school: natural concealment, multiple escape routes, elevated observation that provided tactical advantages while maintaining camouflage that should have prevented detection. But someone had found her anyway. someone with tracking skills that matched or exceeded her concealment capabilities, someone who now held positional advantage that conventional training suggested was insurmountable. American sniper thinks she hunts, but now she becomes prey, the voice continued, revealing tactical understanding that exceeded basic infantry training. Jasmine calculated options while maintaining absolute stillness that prevented provocation of her captor. The weapon against her skull felt like an AK-47 or similar assault rifle, probably 7.62 by 39 millimeter ammunition that would prove instantly lethal at point-blank range. But her training at the Special Operations Target Interdiction course had included extensive instruction in escape and evasion techniques specifically designed for captured snipers. The course recognized that long-range marksmen operating independently in denied territory faced capture scenarios that required specialized responses. 3 years of physical conditioning, hand-to-hand combat training, and psychological preparation had developed capabilities that extended far beyond precision shooting. Jasmine possessed close-quarters combat skills that could neutralize threats using improvised weapons, environmental advantages, and tactical techniques that exploited enemy assumptions about helpless prisoners. The enemy soldier behind her weapon assumed he controlled the tactical situation. His assumption would prove fatal. "Drop weapon slowly," the enemy soldier commanded. "No sudden movements or you die immediately." Jasmine began lowering her Barrett rifle with deliberate precision, creating the impression of compliance while actually positioning the weapon for tactical employment in ways her captor couldn't anticipate. The Barrett weighed 29 pounds, enough mass to serve as an effective close-quarters weapon when wielded by someone with sufficient strength and training. Good. Now turn around slowly. Keep hands visible. Jasmine began rotating her body while calculating distances, angles, and timing that would determine success or failure of escape techniques that required split-second execution with zero margin for error. As she turned, Jasmine observed her captor for the first time. Enemy soldier in standard camouflage uniform, AK-47 assault rifle trained on her position, facial expression showing professional confidence rather than emotional excitement. Experienced fighter, not nervous recruit. Dangerous opponent who would require maximum effort to neutralize. But Jasmine had been trained by instructors whose experience included scenarios where individual operators faced overwhelming tactical disadvantages. The techniques they taught exploited enemy assumptions about prisoner helplessness while leveraging superior training that created opportunities from apparent defeat. Stand up slowly. Keep hands where I can see them. Jasmine rose to her feet with calculated movements that appeared submissive while actually optimizing her position for techniques that would reverse the tactical situation in seconds. Her body coiled with tension disguised as fear, muscles prepared for explosive action that would transform her from prisoner to predator. You are now prisoner of Liberation Army. You will provide information about American operations, or you will die slowly. The enemy soldier's confidence reflected assumption that capturing a sniper eliminated their tactical effectiveness. He had no understanding that elite marksmen received training that made them lethal at any range, including point-blank distance where rifles became clubs and training became survival instinct. Move toward valley. We join my comrades, then you answer questions. The enemy soldier gestured toward the valley where 4 additional hostile fighters continued their reconnaissance activities, unaware that their colleague had captured an American sniper whose training exceeded conventional military education. Jasmine began walking in the indicated direction, while her mind processed tactical opportunities that presented themselves through enemy positioning and equipment configurations. The soldier behind her maintained what he considered safe distance, approximately 3 meters, while keeping his weapon trained on her back. 3 meters represented optimal distance for escape techniques that exploited enemy assumptions about prisoner mobility and combat capability. Close enough for sudden action, far enough that the enemy soldier felt secure in his positional advantage. "Stop!" the enemy soldier commanded after they had moved 50 meters from Jasmine's original position. We wait here while my team completes their mission. Perfect. The tactical situation had just improved dramatically. Stationary positioning provided better opportunities for escape techniques than movement scenarios where unpredictable variables complicated precise timing requirements. Jasmine stood motionless while calculating the sequence of actions that would eliminate her captor and position her for engagement of the 4 enemy soldiers conducting reconnaissance in the valley below. The operation required integration of close-quarters combat, weapons acquisition, and precision shooting that tested every aspect of her training. Turn around. I want to see American female soldier who thinks she can fight like man. The enemy soldier's comment revealed psychological assumptions that Jasmine had encountered throughout her military career. Male fighters, regardless of their professional training, often underestimated female operators based on physical stereotypes rather than demonstrated capabilities. His assumptions would provide tactical advantages that Jasmine intended to exploit completely. She turned to face her captor while maintaining the submissive posture that reinforced his confidence in the tactical situation. But internally, she was measuring distances, identifying weapon positions, and preparing for action that would demonstrate why underestimating trained female operators proved fatal for enemy forces. "You are smaller than I expected for American sniper," the enemy soldier observed with obvious disdain. "How can small women be dangerous to real warriors?" Jasmine remained silent while her training took complete control of her mental processes. The enemy soldier had just made his final mistake. Assuming physical size determined combat effectiveness, his psychological profile indicated someone whose military experience hadn't included encounters with operators trained in unconventional warfare techniques. "Answer me when I speak to you." The enemy soldier's growing agitation suggested emotional instability that would compromise his tactical awareness during critical moments. Perfect psychological condition for implementing escape techniques that required enemy distraction during execution phases. "I asked how small woman thinks she can fight real soldiers." The enemy soldier stepped forward to emphasize his demand, reducing the distance between them from 3 meters to approximately 2 meters. His movement had just eliminated his positional advantage while providing optimal range for close-quarters techniques that required physical contact with armed opponents. Jasmine's response was instantaneous and devastating. Her body uncoiled with explosive force that utilized every technique learned during 3 years of specialized training. Her right hand deflected the AK-47's barrel, while her left elbow struck the enemy soldier's throat with precision that collapsed his airway. Simultaneously, her knee drove into his solar plexus with force that stopped his breathing while her hands stripped the weapon from his grasp. The entire sequence required 1.7 seconds. The enemy soldier dropped to the ground unconscious, his weapon now in Jasmine's control, his assumptions about female combat capability proven catastrophically wrong. Jasmine immediately moved to assess her tactical situation. The AK-47 contained a full magazine of 7.62 by 39 mm ammunition, 30 rounds available for engaging the 4 enemy soldiers in the valley below. Her Barrett M82 remained in position 50 meters away, providing additional firepower for extended engagement if required. But first, she needed to ensure her captor posed no further threat. Jasmine secured the unconscious enemy soldier using techniques learned during prisoner handling courses, then conducted rapid intelligence gathering that revealed communication equipment, suggesting coordination with additional enemy forces in the area. The tactical situation was more complex than initially apparent. Radio communications indicated the reconnaissance team was part of a larger enemy operation involving 12 fighters conducting coordinated intelligence gathering across multiple locations. Eliminating the 4 visible soldiers would alert remaining enemy forces to American sniper presence, potentially compromising her position and mission objectives. The solution required tactical adaptation that exceeded standard engagement procedures. Instead of immediately eliminating visible targets, Jasmine would conduct systematic elimination of all enemy forces in the area using techniques that prevented communication with their command elements. The operation demanded integration of stealth movement, precision shooting, and tactical innovation that pushed her capabilities to maximum levels. Jasmine retrieved her Barrett M82 and established new firing position that provided optimal observation of enemy movements while maintaining concealment from potential reinforcements. The unconscious enemy soldier was secured in location where he couldn't alert his colleagues while serving as potential source of tactical intelligence. Through her scope, she observed the 4 enemy soldiers continuing their reconnaissance activities, unaware that their security element had been neutralized, and they were now under direct threat from American sniper, whose capabilities exceeded their understanding. But Jasmine had learned something critical from radio intercepts. These 4 soldiers were equipped with communication systems that automatically transmitted position reports every 30 minutes. Eliminating them through conventional sniper engagement would trigger alerts that brought additional enemy forces to investigate. The tactical solution required eliminating all 12 enemy fighters before any could report American sniper contact. The mission had just expanded from 4-target engagement to systematic elimination of entire enemy operation, using techniques that maintained tactical surprise throughout. Jasmine began planning an operation that would test every aspect of her training while demonstrating capabilities that exceeded conventional sniper employment doctrine. She would become a ghost hunter, eliminating enemy forces through methods that prevented them from understanding the nature of the threat they faced. The systematic elimination began with intelligence gathering that revealed enemy positions throughout the operational area. Radio communications provided locations, movement patterns, and tactical relationships that allowed Jasmine to sequence engagements for maximum effectiveness while maintaining surprise. Her first targets were communication specialists, whose elimination would disrupt enemy coordination without immediately alerting remaining forces to sniper presence. The Barrett M82's suppressed ammunition provided reduced acoustic signature that allowed multiple engagements before enemy forces could triangulate her position. Jasmine's first shot eliminated the primary communication specialist at 847 meters, precisely the engagement she had been preparing when captured. The .50 caliber projectile struck center mass with devastating effect, immediately neutralizing the target while his colleagues remained focused on their individual assignments. The second shot occurred 4 minutes later, when optimal positioning allowed engagement of the backup communications operator, who had assumed primary radio responsibilities. Another perfect shot, another enemy eliminated, still no indication that remaining forces understood they were under sniper attack. But the real challenge involved eliminating remaining enemy soldiers using techniques that maintained tactical surprise while preventing any from escaping to report American sniper contact. The operation required movement through enemy-controlled territory while conducting precision engagements that appeared to be equipment failures rather than hostile action. Jasmine's solution demonstrated innovation that exceeded standard sniper tactics. Instead of remaining in fixed position conducting long-range engagements, she would infiltrate enemy positions using stealth techniques that allowed close-range elimination, appearing to be accidents or equipment malfunctions. The systematic hunt continued for 3 hours as Jasmine moved through mountainous terrain like a mechanical force of destruction. Enemy soldiers died from apparent equipment failures, environmental accidents, and unexplained incidents that prevented surviving forces from understanding they faced professional military opposition. Her training in unconventional warfare provided techniques for eliminating enemies using methods that appeared natural. Landslides triggered by precisely placed charges, equipment sabotage that caused fatal malfunctions, and environmental manipulation that created deadly accidents without revealing sniper presence. By noon, 11 enemy soldiers had been eliminated through techniques that left no evidence of American military action. The final enemy fighter, the soldier who had captured Jasmine and triggered the expanded operation, remained unconscious and secured for intelligence exploitation. Jasmine's operation had achieved complete success, enemy reconnaissance eliminated, tactical intelligence gathered, and American position security maintained without compromise. The engagement demonstrated capabilities that exceeded conventional sniper training while validating techniques taught in specialized courses. But the most significant achievement was personal rather than tactical. The enemy soldier's assumption about female combat capability had been proven wrong in the most definitive way possible. His confidence in male military superiority had become the catalyst for an operation that demonstrated why underestimating trained female operators proved fatal. Jasmine conducted final security sweep of the operational area before preparing to extract with intelligence gathered from enemy equipment and personnel. The unconscious prisoner would provide information about enemy operations while serving as evidence of American tactical superiority in denied territory. The extraction called in support elements that would secure the area and transport captured materials for analysis by intelligence specialists. Jasmine's operation would contribute to broader understanding of enemy capabilities while demonstrating individual operator effectiveness that exceeded standard expectations. Control, this is Ghost 7, Jasmine transmitted through encrypted communications. Mission complete. 12 enemy eliminated, 1 captured, intelligence materials secured. Ghost 7, Control, outstanding performance. Extraction team en route to your position. The radio conversation concluded an operation that had begun with routine reconnaissance and evolved into demonstration of advanced sniper capabilities under tactical conditions that challenged conventional training assumptions. But Jasmine's greatest satisfaction came from proving that excellence transcended physical characteristics or enemy assumptions. The soldier who had pressed a rifle to her skull learned too late that training, determination, and tactical innovation mattered more than gender stereotypes or traditional military thinking. 3 days later, intelligence analysis of captured materials revealed enemy operations that would have resulted in significant American casualties if allowed to continue. Jasmine's elimination of the reconnaissance teams prevented intelligence gathering that enemy forces intended to use for ambush operations, targeting American patrols. Her individual action had saved lives through tactical innovation that exceeded standard engagement procedures, while demonstrating capabilities that challenged institutional assumptions about optimal sniper employment methods. Staff Sergeant Cooper, Colonel Martinez, addressed her during the classified debrief. Your operation represents tactical adaptation that exceeded every parameter in our assessment criteria. How did you develop techniques for systematic elimination of 12 enemy forces? Sir, specialized training provides capabilities for situations where standard procedures prove inadequate. The capture scenario required adapting techniques for maximum tactical advantage while maintaining mission security. Your escape and subsequent operations demonstrated integration of multiple skill sets that exceeded conventional sniper training. Where did you acquire close-quarters combat capabilities? Sir, advanced courses recognize that snipers operating independently in denied territory face scenarios requiring capabilities beyond precision shooting. Training includes techniques for situations where long-range engagement isn't tactically viable. Colonel Martinez reviewed operational analysis that documented techniques Jasmine had employed during her systematic elimination of enemy forces. Her methods represented innovation that bridged multiple military disciplines while achieving results that exceeded standard tactical doctrine. Staff Sergeant, your operation will be incorporated into advanced training curricula for special operations personnel. Your techniques demonstrated capabilities that could transform how we approach individual operator employment in denied territories. The recognition was gratifying, but Jasmine's greatest achievement was proving that individual excellence could overcome any tactical disadvantage when training met determination under conditions that demanded innovative solutions to impossible problems. 6 months later, Staff Sergeant Jasmine Cooper received promotion to Sergeant First Class and assignment to the Army's most classified sniper program, where her techniques became required study for operators whose missions pushed human capabilities to theoretical limits. Her operation in the Corvan Mountains became legendary among personnel with appropriate security clearances, not for the technical precision of her shooting, but for the tactical innovation that transformed capture scenario into comprehensive enemy elimination, while demonstrating that the most dangerous assumptions were those made about people whose capabilities exceeded visible characteristics. The enemy soldier, who had pressed a rifle to her skull, survived to provide intelligence about operations he would never be able to report. His assumption about female combat effectiveness had become the catalyst for his own capture and the elimination of his entire unit. Jasmine had proven that sometimes the most effective response to enemy confidence was demonstrating why that confidence was misplaced through actions that exceeded every expectation about what individual operators could accomplish when circumstances demanded maximum performance. The Barrett M82 that had been aimed at 4 enemy soldiers completed its mission by eliminating 12. The woman who had been captured while taking aim had become the nightmare that enemy forces never saw coming. And somewhere in classified files marked Advanced Sniper Operations, her achievement was recorded as validation that excellence emerges when tactical innovation meets individual determination under conditions that separate legends from ordinary soldiers. The deadliest reversal in modern warfare had been achieved by someone who proved that being underestimated was the greatest tactical advantage of all, when backed by training, capability, and absolute refusal to accept defeat as anything other than temporary setback requiring creative solution. Staff Sergeant Jasmine Cooper had demonstrated that the most dangerous sniper wasn't always the one with the longest confirmed kill. Sometimes it was the one who could turn any situation into enemy body count through tactical innovation that exceeded every limitation except imagination and will to succeed. The long-term implications of Jasmine's operation extended far beyond individual achievement to strategic changes in how military forces approached female operator employment and unconventional tactical applications. Intelligence analysis of her methods revealed techniques that challenged fundamental assumptions about sniper doctrine and individual operator capabilities in denied territory. Sergeant First Class Cooper, General Patricia Hayes, commanding officer of Special Operations Command, addressed her during a classified strategic planning session 6 months after the Corvan Mountains incident. Your tactical innovations have generated significant interest at the highest levels of military planning. We need to understand how to systematically implement your approaches. Jasmine stood at attention before the assembled senior officers, still adjusting to recognition that transformed her from individual operator to tactical innovator whose methods influenced military doctrine development. Ma'am, the key factors were situational adaptation, integration of multiple skill sets, and refusal to accept conventional limitations when circumstances demanded innovative solutions. Elaborate on systematic implementation challenges. Ma'am, my techniques succeeded because they exploited enemy assumptions about female operators and conventional sniper employment. Systematic implementation risks creating predictable patterns that adaptive enemies could counter. General Hayes activated classified displays showing global operational requirements where Jasmine's techniques might prove applicable. Sergeant First Class, we're facing increasing scenarios where conventional forces prove inadequate due to political constraints, terrain, limitations, or enemy adaptations that exceed standard tactical responses. The strategic briefing included analysis of operational environments where individual operators with advanced capabilities could achieve objectives that conventional units couldn't accomplish through traditional methods. Denied territories, politically sensitive regions, and tactical situations requiring precision that exceeded normal military employment parameters. Ma'am, individual operator effectiveness depends on extensive training, psychological conditioning, and institutional support that recognizes unconventional approaches as valid tactical options. Describe training requirements for operators who would employ your techniques. Ma'am, Integration of precision shooting, close-quarters combat, escape and evasion, improvised weapons, environmental manipulation, and psychological warfare that exceeds normal military education. Operators must think beyond established doctrine while maintaining professional discipline. General Hayes reviewed operational statistics showing how Jasmine's single operation had prevented enemy actions that could have resulted in dozens of American casualties during subsequent patrol activities. Sergeant First Class, your techniques demonstrated force multiplication effects that exceeded conventional unit capabilities. One operator eliminated 12 enemy fighters while gathering intelligence that disrupted broader enemy operations. Yes, ma'am. But effectiveness resulted from specific circumstances that provided tactical opportunities. Different situations would require different approaches. That's precisely why we need operators trained in adaptive thinking rather than standard procedures. Your operation proved that individual innovation could achieve strategic effects when supported by appropriate training and institutional flexibility. The conversation represented culmination of military recognition that had evolved from individual commendation to systematic evaluation of tactical approaches that challenged established doctrine while demonstrating superior effectiveness under specific conditions. 3 months later, Sergeant First Class Jasmine Cooper received orders establishing the Advanced Individual Operator Training Program at a classified facility where selected personnel would learn to exceed conventional tactical limitations through methods that emphasized innovation over standardization. Sergeant Cooper, Brigadier General Martinez, addressed her during the program activation ceremony. Your pioneering training methodology that treats tactical doctrine as starting point rather than limitation. This represents fundamental shift in how we develop individual operator capabilities. The training facility attracted volunteers from throughout Special Operations Forces, personnel willing to abandon conventional approaches in favor of techniques that pushed individual capabilities to theoretical maximum while maintaining operational effectiveness that exceeded standard unit performance. Jasmine's curriculum emphasized principles that challenged traditional military education, that improvisation could exceed preparation, that individual capability could transcend institutional limitation, and that excellence emerged when circumstances demanded performance that challenged established parameters. Students, she addressed her first advanced class, everything you learned in previous training provided foundation for techniques that will push you beyond comfortable limitations. You're here to discover capabilities you didn't know you possessed. Ma'am, one student asked, how do we maintain unit coordination if we're operating beyond standard procedures? Lieutenant, you coordinate through shared understanding of objectives rather than identical execution methods. Your teammates need to trust your capabilities, not predict your actions. The training program proved more challenging than anticipated, requiring psychological conditioning that prepared operators for situations where conventional responses proved inadequate while maintaining professional discipline necessary for military effectiveness. Results exceeded expectations while creating institutional challenges. Program graduates achieved remarkable individual effectiveness, but struggled to integrate with conventional units. Training emphasized predictable coordination rather than adaptive innovation. Sergeant First Class, General Hayes reviewed program statistics during evaluation sessions. Your graduates demonstrate outstanding individual capabilities, but experience difficulties when assigned to standard operational units. Ma'am, advanced individual techniques require operational freedom that conventional command structures may not provide. Graduates need assignments that utilize their enhanced capabilities rather than constraining them to standard procedures. Recommendation? Ma'am, create specialized units composed entirely of advanced individual operators or integrate graduates into existing special operations teams that can adapt to unconventional approaches. The solution involved establishing dedicated operational units trained exclusively in advanced individual techniques while modifying existing special operations doctrine to accommodate personnel whose capabilities exceeded standard parameters. The Cooper method, as it became known throughout classified military communities, demonstrated that individual excellence could be systematically developed when training emphasized adaptation over standardization, while maintaining operational effectiveness that exceeded conventional unit performance. But Jasmine's greatest contribution wasn't tactical. It was cultural transformation of military attitudes toward female operator capabilities and unconventional approaches that challenged established assumptions about optimal personnel employment. Some operators followed doctrine, she told International Special Operations commanders during a classified symposium. Others create doctrine through performance that exceeds existing limitations. The most effective understand that excellence emerges when individual capability meets institutional flexibility. Her techniques were studied by Allied military forces, seeking to understand how American individual operators had achieved such devastating effectiveness against numerically superior enemies through methods that defied conventional tactical analysis. 2 years after her legendary operation, Sergeant First Class Jasmine Cooper received the Distinguished Service Cross for contributions that had transformed individual operator employment throughout American Special Operations Forces while influencing Allied military doctrine development. Her greatest satisfaction came from operational reports describing successful missions conducted by graduates whose training enabled achievement of objectives that conventional approaches couldn't accomplish through standard methods. The enemy soldier who had pressed a rifle to her skull had unknowingly catalyzed development of tactical approaches that protected thousands of American personnel through enhanced individual operator effectiveness that exceeded enemy countermeasures. Jasmine had proven that being underestimated was the ultimate tactical advantage when backed by training that transformed apparent weakness into overwhelming strength through methods that challenged every assumption about individual capability and institutional limitation. Her legacy lived in operators who understood that excellence transcended gender, conventional doctrine, and enemy assumptions about American military capabilities, when individual determination met institutional support for innovation that pushed human potential beyond established boundaries. The Barrett M82 that had been aimed at 4 enemy soldiers became symbol of tactical revolution that demonstrated how individual operators could achieve strategic effects through performance that exceeded every prediction about human capability under extreme conditions. And somewhere in classified files marked advanced individual operations, her achievement remained proof that the most effective weapons weren't always technological. Sometimes they were people who refused to accept that anything was impossible when mission success demanded performance that transcended every limitation except determination and will to exceed every expectation. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, you can subscribe to see more incredible stories like this one.